Hey everyone, you're listening to InfoQuench with Jeff
and Amy,
a podcast with tips to make your life easier,
covering pop culture, parenting, travel, minimalism, and more.
Hey everybody, and welcome to InfoQuench. I'm your host Jeff.
And I'm Amy.
And this episode, we are going to be talking about things we've been watching on the television, because 'tis the season, right? I mean, you're on the couch a little bit more. It's getting a little colder out, and you're going to be switching on that television and looking through Netflix and all these different other places, like, different channels and stuff to find really cool stuff to watch.
Yeah, so we thought we'd share some of the awesome stuff we watched lately, so that if you are stuck for something to watch some night, maybe you can reference back to this episode and pick one of our recommendations.
We have a tendency to be binge watchers as well. If there's like an entire season of a particular show, we get quite into that show.
Yes.
And the quality of work coming out too, like of the writing and stuff, is incredible. And especially, I know I'm going to give a little bit of a teaser, but we're going to be talking about this show called Fleabag out of the UK. And if you haven't seen it, it's amazing. I don't know. Were we going to start with that one, or?
Yeah, sure, we can. And, you mentioned television. I think quite a few, we have a mixture of series and movies that we want to talk about. But these are really our highlights, our favorites. Our favorites, for sure. Some of them we just got incredibly addicted to, and we're just amazed by the quality of the writing and just the cinematography and just everything about it. So, okay, take it away, hon. Which show are we going to talk about first? Yeah, well, we came across you had heard about Fleabag, I think.
Yeah, I heard about Fleabag. Where was it that I heard about it, though?
Maybe just one of our friends recommended it. Oftentimes I'll do a search and just look for, what are the top shows on Netflix, or what are the top shows for 2019.
That was one of the ones that I picked, though.
Various, but that one was one that you got as a recommendation. And it's actually a BBC British comedy drama that aired on BBC television, and it was created and written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
That's where I heard about it, because
she hosted SNL.
I saw her on that, and then I was like, oh yeah, she does that show Fleabag. So we
Saturday
watched
Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, that's right. Yeah.
So that was originally done. The initial idea for the whole Fleabag concept, that series, actually came from, she was challenged by a friend to create a sketch for a 10-minute section in a stand-up comedy storytelling night. And that's where Fleabag was created.
Oh,
but then it debuted at the Edinburgh Film Festival Fringe Festival Fringe as a one-woman play. And and it won the Fringe First Award.
What I loved about that show was like the family dynamic in that show. Like her father, how he says so much without saying a single word. He's like, well, and he doesn't even say anything, but like just the actor is so great at what he's doing that you can totally get what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, the acting in this one is next level. Just to kind of give a little bit of the premise around what it's about. It's so Fleabag is sort of the lead character, and she's an angry, confused, sexually voracious young woman who's living in London. And it is, it's not one to watch with little kiddies in the room. It's
very comedic, though. It
is
so funny.
It's really well. I laughed out loud quite a few times.
I love too how they decided to break that fourth wall, because she speaks directly to the people watching the show, the viewers, which is so powerful sometimes, but it can be done. It has to be done properly.
So she does a good job of it, and it really lends insight into the character. It makes you, I guess, maybe have a little more empathy.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
The show has a really dark underside too, right?
It is. It's all about she's sort of dealing with some grief and how she's working through that. And, she does things that you would say are, distasteful or, alienate her from friends and family. But it's...
So it's kind of like a tragic comedy almost.
But you can really, you tend to like and root for the main character. So it ran for just 2 seasons, but I felt it wrapped itself up well. Sometimes you watch and a series abruptly stops, but this one wrapped itself up well, and I really enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend it. Again, it's it's a little edgier, so keep that in mind.
It definitely plays with your expectations of certain ideologies, especially when it comes to religion and stuff. Like, you're walking a kind of a fine line when you make a priest really hot. You know what I mean? And I'm not really giving anything away by saying that. It's just like there's no real spoilers in this podcast, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, I just love how they took that and ran with it, and they did a really great job with it, I think.
Yeah, it's always interesting when they do that. I'm trying to think if there's a book, The Thornbirds, that did something similar like that, where it's, edgy, where there's a mix of, religion and sexuality. And so, and if you like British,
comedy,
British TV, I think you'll really enjoy it.
It is really good. There's only, there's 2 seasons, and that's it, right? Just 2 seasons?
Just 2 seasons.
Yeah. And the first season only has like 6 or 7 episodes.
So this isn't one you're going to find on Netflix. You're probably going to have to do a little
digging
finagling, a little digging to try to find that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one word, Fleabag. Look it up. You won't regret it.
It's really, really good.
Now, I don't have this on my list, but what's the name of the comedy on Netflix where I can never remember. I think you should leave.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think you should leave the sketch comedy show.
Yeah, just as an ad in that one.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
with Tim Robinson.
God, that's a funny show.
It is a really funny show. And it, again, that does the same thing as Fleabag, is it pushes those limitations of what you would expect from comedy.
Oh yeah.
Like it really does. Like it takes something so simple, like a simple idea, and just accentuates it and stretches it and like makes it so, I don't even know what the word is, but it's just you get totally enveloped into the ideas that these people are trying to bring.
And it's the type of thing that it covers material that you face every day. Like again, not really giving it any way. It's very short comedic sketches is what the basis of the whole series is. So you kind of go through the material pretty quickly. But when we all come across a door that's a push or a pull, and you have that moment where you do the wrong thing,
do like, oh, silly
and it's a
me.
Little embarrassing, and you kind of but we all do it.
This
right?
particular sketch takes that to the next level.
So I think you should leave is what it's called. I don't know why I always have such a hard time remembering that, but just search that one on Netflix if you're looking for a laugh. If you have a weird sense of humor like we do, then you'll probably love it.
I'm really hoping that they do a 2nd season and then a 3rd season and then a 4th of that show, because
there's only one season.
There's only one season so far.
Okay.
And I don't know. I haven't really done any digging to see if they're going to do another, but I hope they do. And there's like just for example, like there's another sketch on there about like how someone always eats those nachos that are piled with the ingredients and leaves the crap for other people.
Oh yeah.
And so those are the ideas that they play with on this show.
I know.
Amongst others, though.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a very well, I don't know if it's a North American thing where none of us will take the last thing on a plate.
That is it seems to be a North American thing.
Like we won't take the last piece of pizza or the last cookie off a plate.
Yeah.
It's, we're very much.
Yeah.
Anyway. So what else? I wanted to talk a little bit about The Crown.
Oh, The Crown. Yeah.
So
we've watched every episode of that.
So it's actually 3 seasons in, and it will be, the whole series will be done over 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Each season will have 10 episodes. So it's halfway through now.
Wow.
And they're basically releasing one. It seems like about one a year. Netflix, it's a Netflix original. So you can watch it on Netflix, and they release the series all at once. So you can hop on there and watch all 3 seasons if you want.
Just recently they released the most recent one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And really what it is it's covering the life of Queen Elizabeth. So from her younger years when she first starts her reign. And they do... 2 new actors. They do new actors every 2 seasons.
Right.
So you had sort of the same actress playing the Queen for the first 2 seasons.
As she grows older.
And then this is season 3. We saw sort of a turnover in the actors for this 3rd season. But it's currently up to, I think they just introduced at the end of season 3 Princess Diana.
Yeah, they did. That's right. And that's exactly where it ended, and then it's just gonna go but I found that show, I mean, it's hard not to do it this way, but it all revolves around what was happening at the time in England.
Yes, it's very much. I've learned a lot about history because I'm not a huge history buff.
I've learned more about history than I have about the monarchy from watching this show, to be honest. Like, I'm not a huge proponent of the monarchy, but I feel like this show is worth seeing. I think it's really interesting.
It is. Well, I think
it keeps your interest.
We've always been, critical of the monarchy and how much, fame and prestige they're given. But I really felt that the series and seeing what the role and the responsibility, and
you have to admire her resolve, right? She never flinches
and we always, I think part of why we're so skeptical and critical of them is that they're not elected, right? They're born into it. But then you also have to think that it's not something that they've chosen either. They are just born into it.
Yeah.
And those at it seems when we watch the series, those in the lower levels who aren't in, obviously not the queen, but maybe her sister or
Queen Anne. Is that her name? See, I don't even remember.
Oh no, I completely lost.
What?
Is it Anne? I completely lost what her sister's name was. But anyways, those who are sort of on the periphery of the queen seem to be able to live a more lavish lifestyle without the responsibility, whereas she's the one really, having to
fill the shots, right?
Fill the role and always be on.
I mean, just recently she had to tell Prince Andrew that he's no longer basically a part of the monarchy.
Oh yes, so she's just still, recently, like in current time, yes,
because of the whole.
Well, that part's really fascinating to see, the fact that she's actually still queen and we're watching a series that is depicting her life.
Do you think she does?
I don't know how she
I think I'll watch The Crown tonight.
I don't know how could you not watch like a 60 episode series of your whole life? How could you not watch
I know.
Your own?
I would probably say she doesn't though, because she probably watches it and sees all kinds of things that are like untrue. Really, they can't. A lot of it is fabricated. It has to be.
It would take a really
especially
strong
the conversations
person,
that they have. Like, there's nobody there to even like say that they had those conversations.
Well, no,
there's
they take liberties to make things more entertaining. But then, if she doesn't watch it directly, I'm sure she has somebody tell her what transpired in the, and what scandalous things might have been portrayed. Or there's no way she couldn't. I mean, I know she's the queen, but she's still human.
If I was the queen, I'd watch it. Oh, it's me. I'm watching it now. Again, and again.
Well, it's weird what they saw, they did I was reading an article about, Boris Johnson going to meet the Queen after he was elected. Was it just this week? Was it or just last week?
Yeah, it was just recently.
And it was interesting to watch because, you sort of watch Winston Churchill and, you've watched all these other prime ministers of, yesteryears going to meet her through the series, and then now you're seeing in current day the new prime minister going to meet her and sort of understanding that relationship a little bit more and how that all works.
I love how she never says goodbye. She just rings a bell. I thought that's so punk rock of her.
It is.
God save the Queen.
Yeah. Words you never thought you'd say, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way that they could. I mean, and also Meghan Markle's got to be watching because she's an actress herself and she's from that whole world of Hollywood. And
I'm surprised they didn't get her to do a cameo.
Oh, well, she's not even allowed to act, is she?
She's not allowed to do a lot of things now, I'm sure.
There's all kinds of crazy things they're not allowed to do.
Anyway, check it out, though. It's a good show. It's on Netflix. There's what, 3 seasons now?
Three seasons.
Yeah,
so that's
30
episodes you can watch. So if you're looking to binge over the holidays and really rack up the couch time with some Netflix,
and
that's
huge
a good
budget to make that show as well. Like, it was ridiculous, the sets and stuff. A lot of them aren't even sets.
It shows them visiting, Africa, and it's really well done, and the acting is phenomenal. One that we just watched just last night, Marriage Story.
Yeah, Marriage Story with ScarJo and what's that? I don't remember the other dude's name.
Adam Driver. Scarlett Johansson and good old ScarJo and Adam Driver.
Yeah.
And Marriage Story is another Netflix movie, so you can if you got Netflix, just look it up. It's a little over 2-hour movie, and
Oscar buzz, people. You heard it here first.
So.
It's good, but it's not.
It's been nominated. So the Golden Globes will air in January, but it's already received a leading 6 nominations.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was named, I think, by some critics as being one of the top 10 films of 2019, which I can completely see.
I can see it too, yeah. But it's not mind-blowing. What I love about it is it takes 2 likable characters. There's no, like, anti-hero. There's nobody who you dislike more. I mean, there's mistakes made in every marriage, and there's a huge one made in this one. Not really giving anything away. But, it's how people change and how they make allowances for each other going through a divorce, basically what this is about.
Yeah, it's interesting you say there's a huge mistake made in this marriage, but I find it's really what the movie's more about the subtle, growing apart.
It is.
In a way, it's, and they vary. I mean, the actors are just, they are like, I can't think of another word to say, but they're just phenomenal because it's just like watching real life, real scenarios.
Not just the bigwigs either, but the cast below them are incredible as well. Like all the acting in the whole show is really great.
Even the child, the son does a really great job.
Alan Alda, he was great.
Yeah, so Alan Alda is one of the lawyers in the film, and then I just look Laura Dern.
Laura Dern is another lawyer,
and she was in Big Little Lies, and I loved her in that too. But she's a great actress. Oh yeah, she's so good.
She's fierce.
She's so good.
She's fierce, and no matter what she does, she just does it with conviction. Yeah, so. The Marriage Story on Netflix. Check it out. It's incredible. It is. It's really good. I don't even know if we
really talked about what the premise was, but really it is. It's about a married couple just going through the course of a divorce and what all that entails.
And how it affects children as well.
And how, discussions around custody. And it's filmed, the movie runs coast to coast. So it's set in New York and in Los Angeles. And it was also filmed in both cities. And I can't say enough about the acting in this and how much it seems like probably a real life depiction. I think if you were somebody who has gone through a divorce or is in the midst of one, it would probably be it might be upsetting to watch even.
It really makes you thankful though when you're not in that kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like you and I are not in that situation. And after watching that movie, I was like, I'm pretty lucky.
Right. That's so nice, honey.
Yeah.
We talked about, wouldn't it be an awful thing to make your spouse watch that and then tell them at the end you want a divorce?
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? So, did you get the main idea in this movie? Well, that's what I'm going for.
Some people plan a proposal, but we could, that's how you just plan the divorce.
You are served.
So, if Marriage Story is on your television and your spouse is looking grumpy. Yeah, it could be a bad ending. No, it is really, really well done. Jeff mentioned it's not a huge plot-driven one. It's more about
character development and it's a great film. Check it out. I mean, it beats a lot of the other films that are out there right now, anyways. So I haven't seen them all, but
not all the films.
Not all of them.
Even though it was released by Netflix, it also it premiered at the Venice Film Festival back in August, and then it had some limited theatrical release, so it played in some theaters, but then it was just released December 6th
on Netflix.
For digital streaming. Yeah. So, but
it's great.
And I'm just looking. It was actually the American Film Institute and the National Board of Review listed it as one of the 10 best films of the year. Isn't
it interesting how streaming services are finally getting the respect from the music or the movie, award shows and stuff, Well, it's only in the last 5 years that's happened,
They're attracting huge talent.
Yeah, and have a huge budget to make these movies.
Yeah, so that one was 18 million.
That's insane.
And they had them, I think, within a week of sort of going out and looking, they had the cast. Sorry, it was in a month. So they announced the project in 2017, and the cast joined with the same month.
Oh,
so
wow.
they had the entire cast on board.
They were made an offer they couldn't refuse, basically. Lots of money.
Speaking of that, The Irishman.
Oh, yeah. That was a good film. I really loved the fact that it was all of the greats. I mean, it was incredible, the acting that they got. Like, that must have been a very expensive movie to make.
So that one was $159 million.
There you go.
Comparing, Marriage Story was $18 million, but the movie The Irishman was $159 million. And
that's bonkers, the amount of money.
I know.
That's insane. That is insane. But, you've got De Niro, Pacino, who else? You got him?
Joe Pesci.
Pesci, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, Al Pacino. Of course, Robert De Niro. It's
insane.
Amazing. And it's estimated in terms of... just let me have a look here.
I will say, though, that it's not, again, like entirely factual. It's based on things that actually happen, concerning, Jimmy Hoffa and all that. Like, he was an actual person that existed in history, but exactly what they say in the movie perhaps happened,
Yeah, so the premise around it is that...
is not necessarily true.
In the 1950s, truck driver Frank Sheeran gets involved with Russell Bufalino. I'm going to massacre these Italian names.
All right,
Bufalino and his Pennsylvania crime family. And then as Sheeran climbs the ranks, he becomes a top hitman, and he also goes to work for Jimmy Hoffa, who is, if you don't know who Jimmy Hoffa is, powerful teamster tied to organized crime.
That's right, union boss. Basically.
I found that whole piece really interesting. I mean, I'd heard of Hoffa, but I didn't really know the whole, story behind it. And yes, I know they've been criticized for taking liberties in terms of what actually took place.
Yeah.
But it's a movie,
you
and they need to make it entertaining. So.
No, but you kind of have to when you don't know definitively what happened.
Well, that's right. That whole
you have to make it up, right?
And...
But De Niro was, he was criticized for some of the choices he made with that movie. I only knew that after watching the movie, and I love doing that. I don't know if you do, listeners, but after I watch a show or watch a movie or whatever, I love doing a little bit of research after the fact. You do all the research before for our podcast, of course.
And try to make sure. I hate wasting time watching a bad movie, so I like to do a lot of research and try to watch some good stuff. And we've been watching some really great movies lately. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of great movies out there. A lot of crap, though, too. That's the problem.
There's a lot of crap. So in terms of Martin Scorsese, who...
Scorsese.
Is it Scorsese?
It could be.
You say Scorsese.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Keep saying it, honey. I love it.
It's Martin Scorsese? It's Scorsese?
I think it's Scorsese, but I don't know, man.
Okay. Well, you also thought it was Scarlett Johansson.
It depends. Yeah, I didn't know anything about ScarJo.
I know.
Anyway.
ScarJo, Lilo, J-Lo.
J-Lo I knew of, but yeah.
So Martin, this is actually the longest film he's done. So anybody who's watched it, it's 3.5 hours. That's a long movie. Most people I've talked to, actually most people I mentioned it to have watched it by now.
Yeah,
and
we watched it in three
most people
sittings.
Are breaking it up into multiple nights.
Yeah. Didn't we? Yeah, 3 sittings we watched that.
Yeah, we broke it up into 3 sittings. So Netflix estimated that 26 million people, or families I should say, had tuned in within the first week of its release.
That's insane.
So, and by their standards, their watching standards, if you've watched something, if you've watched at least 70%, that's what Netflix uses as their...
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
That makes sense.
It's a side thing. If you watch 70% of anything, they consider it watched.
Yeah.
So, so 26 million families watched it in the first week.
Wow.
So multiply that by 3.5 hours. And that's
I don't imagine
the
kids were watching it, though.
It's a lot of years of productivity but a lot of, it was just outstanding. And it's one of those ones too, that the acting is,
and
you forget that you're watching a movie.
You are zapped back to the time when it happened. It's done that well.
Well, and the way they age the actors.
Yeah.
Through the course of the movie. Because again, it does cover a large span of time.
Yeah.
So to see them play, the different ages and how well that's all taken into account it's really impressive.
Yeah, it is. I will say too, though, and this probably won't be the case for everybody that watches the movie, but there were parts, especially when they get into aspects of the union and the politics of the time stuff, that I got confused and I kind of zoned out for a bit because I've been watching it for like 2 hours already. You know what I mean?
There was a lot to it sure.
There was a lot to it, but anyways, so I was just like, I just didn't know what certain things were happening, and it was just a little. I tuned it out a bit, but
the actual movie is based on a book too. I Heard You Paint Houses by Charles Brandt, which also is a title that sort of they flash on screen during the movie.
That's right,
and that's sort of the Irishman's tagline. So
we won't tell you what that means, but
right.
You have to watch the movie to find out if you haven't already.
And that book came out in 2004, just as a side.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. That was a good show, though. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoyed all of them.
So I just wanted to talk about one last one. We have a little bit more time. The Morning Show. Oh
yeah, The Morning Show, which is an Apple TV exclusive, basically.
Yeah, so it's American drama web television series is the genre they're calling it. But yeah, it came out exclusively on Apple TV. So you got to do some digging again for this one. Unless you have Apple TV, then you're all set.
Yeah.
And it was inspired by a book. Journalist Brian Stelter had a book called Top of the Morning, Inside the Cutthroat World of Morning TV. And that's what inspired the series. And
this series is fantastic. I have to say, like right off the hop, that there are actors in this show that I know from other shows like Friends and stuff like that I completely had written off. Like I just did not even care to see their faces again. But they seriously act incredibly well in this show.
Yeah, it's a surprising mix.
It's amazing.
So just referring to Jennifer Aniston is one of the leads.
And Reese Witherspoon. She surprised me, man. Like, she can act. Like, they can both act.
And Steve Carell.
And Steve Carell is incredible in it as well. Yeah. Like, it really is a great unwinding. It's kind of like a comedy, but it's also like a psychological thriller because you don't really know what's going to happen from show to show, like from episode to episode, and it is constantly unfolding. The plot is just constantly getting more and more intense.
There's a lot of chess playing. It's really people are manipulating.
It reminds me a little bit of Damages with Glenn Close.
Yes.
If you haven't seen
Damages was another excellent series. And so the morning show, again, I think this comes out in the very first episode, but it's only 2 seasons in. Mm-hmm. It's not 2 seasons in. It's only one season in.
And almost to the end.
Almost end. So, but the overall series that Apple has secured, it's going to be 2 seasons with 10 episodes each. Okay. So they're just wrapping up. They have 1 episode left of this first season, and then we'll have to wait for season 2. And each... the way they released this was very fascinating. They released the first 3 episodes.
Yes, that's right.
At the start. When the series was released, 3 episodes came out, and then they've been doing 1 episode a week after that. Yeah. So we're up to 9 of 10. So if you want to look it up, by next Monday, a week from when you're listening to this podcast, once it drops, you'll be able to watch the full first season. And yeah, so the premise is really around a lead anchor being fired over allegations of sexual misconduct, and it
mirrors a lot of what's happening in modern day, right?
Yeah, a lot of dialogue around the whole Me Too movement, and it's really fascinating.
It is really, really well done, and don't write the show off because you can look at it and say, oh, it's Jennifer Aniston and blah blah blah. I mean, that's what I almost did, and but don't. It's an incredible show. It really is. It's great.
It's really impressive. I was impressed with the acting. So we talked about how much everything's cost. This one actually costs $15 million per episode.
Wow.
Per episode. So both Aniston and Witherspoon get $2 million a piece per episode.
Oh my goodness.
Not including what they get for producing fees and ownership points, whatever that means.
But
sure. they obviously, when they're actors, actresses of that caliber,
Although what did she get for Friends per episode? $1 million, right? She got $1 million per episode. I think
at the end,
towards end.
And now they're they still are cleaning up on that. So $2 million per episode. That means they're getting $20 million each per season because there's 10 episodes per season. So this whole series is going to rack them $40 million a piece.
What's the fella's name? Like his real name that is the exec. Do you know what that guy's name is? His name is Crudlow or something like that. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
The younger executive guy in the network.
Oh, I do, but I don't know what the actor's name
Anyway,
is.
he's incredible as well. Like he's an incredible actor. Like what I love about the dialogue in this show is that it's lightning speed, but it's like so witty, and there's not one wasted word. Let me just say that. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, it's quick moving. The episodes go quickly. Yeah. Like are they an hour? I feel like
they make you want more by the end. I know we're glowing about this show, but it is a really great show.
And you know what? It has mixed reviews. If you look, this is one of those ones you search, you're probably going to see some poor Rotten Tomato scores and things like that. And
what could they not like?
I don't know.
Formulaic, maybe? I don't really find it too formulaic.
No, I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I
know. It's like we don't like shows about like zombies or superheroes. I know we're like alienating a lot of our listeners right now, but it's just not the kind of stuff we like to watch.
No, just when you see character development and phenomenal acting, that's what I love. That's what draws me in.
Yeah, me too.
So hopefully you picked up 1 or 2 shows that you'll want to check out over the over the winter months when you're lounge on the couch and flicking through. And
they're great shows and movies.
And whether you like them or don't like them, let us know on social media.
Yeah, let us know. Drop us a line anywhere on social media. Just type in InfoQuench.
Hey, you got anything to recommend? We'd love to hear that too.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
Be sure to visit InfoQuench.com to subscribe and catch up on past episodes.
You can also check out InfoQuench on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Till next time.